We are going to be doing a 60-minute vinyasa flow today. All level vinyasa flow, there are plenty of options to up level. There are plenty of options to modify. And just a reminder that this is your practice. This is your time to play, your safe space to play. So if you want to rock up into that handstand, if you want to lay your neck down and relax, this is your time for yourself. I want us to, be daring, be different, be impractical, be anything that will assert integrity of purpose and imaginative vision against the play it safers. So how can we be funky? How can we get groovy on our mats? We're going to get started today in Baddha Konasana, which is butterfly pose. Butterfly pose, bringing both feet together to touch, and then letting the knees jet out in opposite directions. If you're looking for more of a grounding practice today, go ahead and place both palms onto the knees. If you're ready to receive all this beautiful energy we're about to create with one another, go ahead and place the palms high to the sky. For more of an introspective practice, place one palm onto heart center and the other palm on the low belly, feeling that prana, feeling that energy or fuel inside yourself. Yoga asks us to make peace with the deepest and most terrifying parts of ourselves. Can we settle into this breath? Can we get rid of that mental to-do list and be here in this moment? If Baddha Konasana is already too much for your hips today, you can place the feet out. And if you're looking for a little bit more of a challenge, place the heels as close to the perineum as possible. Starting to find the natural cadence of the breath. Shutting the eyes down here. Letting the shoulders melt away from the ears as the crown of your head lifts towards the ceiling. I invite you to set an intention for today's practice. Maybe that's something or someone that inspires you. Maybe it's a little memory inside that makes you smile. Maybe it's a simple word. Whatever it is, can you bring your awareness to your breath, your body, and your intention? Together as a community, we inhale, filling the belly, filling the lungs, letting the collarbone expand, holding the breath at the top of the throat, opening the mouth, audible exhale, let something go. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs, let the collarbone expand, holding the breath at the top of the throat, and then exhaling, letting that breath go. Inhale, fill the belly for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, big belly breath, fill the belly, fill the lungs, let the collarbone expand, holding the breath at the top of the throat, and then sealing the lips, letting the heat escape through both nostrils. Starting to create a slight constriction in the back of your throat as if you're fogging up a glass or a mirror. Dialing into your Ujjayi pranayama, or your victorious breath. In this victorious breath, we build heat with our bodies, always having the options to let it go by simply opening the mouth and exhaling through the mouth. Starting to blink the eyes open here, placing the palms onto the knees, and then starting to move the neck from side to side, creating semicircles. Rolling the chin down towards the chest. And then maybe, if it feels good to your body, switching the direction from clockwise to counterclockwise. Starting to invite the shoulder blades into the party, moving them up and down, back and forth, creating that clockwise motion again. And then inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up, gaze is in between the palms. Take a slight back bend here. Tuck the tailbone down towards the earth. Inhale, big belly breath. Exhale, reach for something you desire in front of you, planting the palms towards the earth. Can you simultaneously push the palms into the earth while pushing your sits bones towards your mat? One full breath here. Exhale, sweeping the palms, coming back to center. We're gonna run through a few eagle arms here. So here, bringing the palms first out wide, and then exhale, bringing the right palm underneath the left. If you do not have that eagle bind here, no worries. Go ahead and give yourself a hug instead, grabbing for both shoulders. Couple options here. If you're in that eagle bind, place the palms away from you. Take one big inhale here. Finding that shoulder stretch in the posterior part of the shoulder. Take one more breath. And then exhale, release the arms, moving the shoulders, moving the neck, finding fluidity in your movement. Inhale, open up the palms wide, coming in for eagle on the opposite side. Left arm threads underneath the right, coming for that eagle bind. If that eagle bind is not here for you, go ahead and bring yourself to give yourself a squeeze, grabbing opposite elbows. And then if you're in that eagle arm, place the palms away from you. Find that posterior shoulder stretch. Take one big inhale here. Exhale, coming back through center. Coming onto all fours here. Tabletop pose on the top of our mats. In this tabletop pose, our wrists are directly underneath our shoulder blades. Knees are underneath the hips. Untucking the toes, dropping the belly low, bolstering the heart towards the stars, sending the tailbone high, cow pose. Exhale, ground down into the palms, round the spine, gazes to the navel, cat pose. Inhale, drop the belly low, open up the chest, send your heart high. Take one full inhale here. And then exhale, ground down into those palms, round the spine, gazes to the navel, find a slight protraction in your shoulder blades. One more cat-cow, drop the belly low, open up the chest, bolster your heart towards the stars. Exhale, ground down into the palms, find a slight protraction in the shoulder blade, gazes to the navel. Inhale, coming back to neutral. Left palm reaches out in front of you as if you're shaking someone's hand. Pull that shoulder into its socket, slow and controlled, lifting the right heel high to the sky. Dorsiflexing the fins, sending the toes towards the earth to square off the hips. Inhale, elbow to knee, round the spine, crunch it in, cat back. Inhale, reach in front of you. Exhale, shoulder to knee, round the spine, activate in the core. Reach in front of you. Last time, knee to elbow, round the spine, crunch it in. Active listening, we're planting the left palm onto the earth and then sending the right heel all the way back. Dorsiflexing in the fin here, pushing into the mat. Take one full inhale here. Exhale, bringing the right knee to make a huge semicircle, bringing the knee towards the right armpit. Can you push evenly into both palms? Taking one full inhale here, doggy on a fire hydrant asana. Take one more breath. Exhale, release that foot down. One cat-cow to reset, drop the belly low, gazes high to the sky. Exhale, ground down into those palms, round the spine, gazes to the navel. Inhale, coming back to neutral tabletop. Our knees are hips width distance apart. Bringing the right palm to reach in front of you here as if you're shaking someone's hand. Can you bring the shoulder into its socket, slow and controlled, starting to bring the left foot high. Keeping the left toes towards the earth, we're squaring off the hips. Take one big inhale here. Exhale, knee to elbow, round the spine, crunch it in, cat back. Inhale, reach for something you desire. Exhale, round the spine, cat back, just like grandma, right, Sloan? Inhale, reach for something in front of you. One more time, round the spine, crunch it in, shoulders, and then plant the palms towards the earth, keeping that left foot raised. Here we're pushing the earth away from us, finding a slight protraction in our shoulder blades. And then sending the knee to create that big semicircle here, coming into doggy on a fire hydrant. Lifting that left leg up, pushing evenly into both palms. Take one big inhale here. Exhale, releasing the left knee down to the earth, neutral tabletop pose. Taking a look at that alignment one more time, wrists directly underneath the shoulder blades, knees underneath the hips. Paying attention to these architectural lines, giving us a strong foundation here. We're tucking the toes and then rising 2 inches off the earth. We're in that lifted tabletop pose. Option to keep those knees 2 inches off the earth, or option to place them on the floor. If you're with me, I'm running through a few cat-cows here with lifted knees. Dropping the belly low, gazes high to the sky. Exhale, round the spine, protracting the shoulder blades, gazes to the navel. One more round, you got this, yogis. Drop the belly low, open up the chest, keep those knees lifted. Exhale, round the spine, gazes to the navel. One last time, neutral breath. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, leaving the heels towards the earth, finding that downward facing dog, sending the hips high. Creating an inverted V shape in our bodies. Our feet are hips width distance apart. Our palms are a little bit wider than shoulder width distance. We're sending our gaze towards the thighs. Sending the gaze towards the ankles, we're elongating the neck. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Take one full breath in this down dog. Exhale, release. One more breath. Inhale, gazes in between the palms, and slow and controlled, we're tiptoeing all the way to the top of our mats. Tiptoeing those toes one in front of the other until you come into a forward fold. In this forward fold, our feet are hips width distance apart. 2 fists in between those feet are a good measurement. Inhale, halfway lift out of the Uttanasana, creating a number 7 with our spine. If you're suffering from a little bit of a low back injury, slightly bend both knees here. Plugging the shoulder blades into the earth, finding that flat back, chin slightly tilts towards the chest. As if you're trying to eat your favorite plate of snacks, inhale, fill the belly, find that flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up, reaching with intention, gazes in between the palms. Exhale, swan dive, leading with the chest, hinging at the hips, coming all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the palms, high plank. Option to drop those knees in this high plank. Wrists are directly underneath the shoulders, heels are above the toes. Tucking the elbows into the ribs, lowering down to that low plank. Taking one full breath in this low plank. Inhale, fill the belly. Exhale, push the earth away from you, finding that high plank. Tuck the elbows into the ribs, slowly lower down, low plank. Inhale, push the earth away from you, rise up. Last one, yogis, you're strong. You can do this. Tuck the elbows into the ribs, lower all the way down onto the belly. Untucking the toes here, finding Bhujangasana or low cobra pose. In this low cobra, slightly tucking the chin towards the chest, letting the crown of the head reach forward. The shoelace portion of our toes are grounding into our mats. Maybe you test your balance or test your strength here by lifting the palms up, activating the back. Sending the elbows to magnetize towards one another. Take one full breath here. Exhale, plant the palms onto the mat, tuck the toes, rising up, finding downward facing dog, rolling over the toes. Settling into this down dog here, making any shifts or movements that feel good. Palms are shoulder width distance apart, feet are a little bit wider than hips. Gaze is in between the palms, we walk, step, jump, hop, or float to the top of our mat. Inhale, halfway lift out of the Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. Really reach with intention. Feel the back body turn on. Gaze is in between the palms. Exhale, swan dive, leading with the chest, hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, high to low plank. You flow, you grow. Option to drop down to the knees here. Tuck the elbows into the ribs. 3 points of contact, knees, chest, chin. Slithering the chest all the way through for that low cobra or upward facing dog. If you're in this upward facing dog, the shoelace portion of our feet are grounded into the earth. We're pushing the mat away from us, letting the shoulders melt away from the ears. Feel the activation in the shoulders. Taking one full breath here. And then exhale, rolling over the toes, downward facing dog. We have one more sun A just to heat the body up. Gaze is in between the palms. We walk, step, jump, hop, or float to the top of our mat. Inhale, halfway lift out of the Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. Active listening, we're grabbing for this left wrist and then moving over towards the right side, grounding down into the right heel. Can you spiral your chest towards the ceiling? Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, can you sink a little bit deeper? Inhale through center. Exhale, switching the grip, grabbing for the right wrist, moving over towards the left side. Can you spiral your chest towards the ceiling? Take one full breath here. Exhale, can you sink a little bit deeper? Inhale through center. Exhale, swan dive, leading with the chest hinging at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, you flow, you grow, high to low plank. Tuck the elbows into the ribs as you lower down. Upward facing dog, pull the chest through. Exhale, rolling over the toes, downward facing dog. Beautiful sun A's yogi, warming up the body here. Taking one breath to reset before we continue. Inhale, both heels raise high to the sky. Exhale, can you sink those heels a little bit closer towards the earth? Maybe shortening the stance a bit, maybe bending at the knees, whatever feels good here. First, bringing both feet together to touch at the back of your mat. And then inhale, right leg lifts high to the sky. Option to point the toe or find the inner rotation, squaring the hips off, sending the right toes towards the earth. Inhale, right knee to nose, round the spine, crunch it in, shoulders over wrists, hold. Inhale, three-legged dog. Right knee to right elbow, find a connection. Three-legged dog. Right knee to nose, round the spine, crunch it in, plant the right foot in between the palms. Leaving this left palm grounded, opening up for that easy twist. Option to drop this bottom knee here if you'd like. Taking one full breath here. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, we're goalposting the arms, finding a slight heart opening. Take one breath. Inhale, back to easy twist. Slow and controlled, starting to bring all the weight onto the left side, finding Vashisthasana, side plank. And then dropping this bottom knee down here, so we're in a modified half moon. From this modified half moon, inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, bringing the right knee in towards the right elbow, crunch it in. Exhale, reach for something you desire. One more time, slow and controlled. Activate those obliques, crunch it in, elbow to knee. Release down. Last time, yogis, you got this. Elbow to knee, crunch it in. Release down, bringing the palms down towards the mat. Grounding evenly into both toes, finding that inner rotation, right leg is lifted. And then grounding the right foot all the way down, finding that high plank. Option to drop down to the knees, finishing your vinyasa, tucking the elbows into the ribs, lowering down. Upward facing dog, arcing the chest through here. Bringing the big toes together to touch, sending the chest towards your mat. Child's pose. Know that this child's pose is always here for you. I may not call for it, but this is your safe space to play. Taking one full intentional breath here, coming back to that intention that you set in the beginning of class. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, walk the palms closer to the body, and then finding that inverted V shape once again, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. In this downward facing dog, our feet are hips width distance apart. Grounding down into the base knuckle of the index finger and the thumb, then bringing the feet together to touch at the back of your mat. Inhale, left leg lifts high to the sky. Option to point a toe or send that internal rotation down towards your mat, pointing the toe towards the earth. Starting to create circles with this left knee, moving clockwise and then counterclockwise. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to nose, round the spine, crunch it in, shoulders over wrists, hold. Three-legged dog. Left knee to left elbow, make a connection, hold. Three-legged dog. Left knee to nose, round the spine, crunch it in, plant the left foot in between the palms. Keeping this right palm grounded onto the earth, lifting the left palm high, finding that easy twist on the opposite side. Option to drop this bottom knee if you'd like, or option to up level and keep it lifted. Inhale, finding that big belly breath, goalposting the arms, finding an opening in the chest. Inhale, back to neutral. Slow and controlled, starting to bring all the weight onto this right side, finding Vashisthasana, side plank. Pushing the earth away from you with this right palm, lifting the hips a little bit higher. And then bringing the right knee towards the earth. Setting up for the opposite side here, left knee to left elbow, crunch it in. Exhale, release. Knee to elbow, crunch it in. Release back. Exhale, knee to elbow, crunch it in. Feel those obliques work. Inhale, reach for something you desire, planting the left palm down towards the earth, and then sending the left toes towards your mat, grounding evenly into both palms. Bringing the left foot towards the earth, and then sending the right foot back for that high plank. Tucking the elbows into the ribs, finishing your vinyasa, high to low plank. Option to skip that vinyasa entirely, upward facing dog. Exhale, big toes come together to touch, sending the chest down towards the mat, child's pose. In this child's pose, taking a moment to come back to that breath, come back to that intention. Why is it that you showed up on your mats today? Why are you here? Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, release. Inhale, walking the palms close to the body, finding that downward facing dog out of the Mukha Svanasana. And then inhale, gazes in between the palms. We slowly tiptoe once again, using your strength, finding that protraction in the shoulder blades. And then meeting in that forward fold at the top of your mat. In this forward fold, we're bringing our feet about hips-width distance apart. Two fists in between the feet, a slight inner rotation of the toes, sending the big toes towards one another. Bending in the knees, rising up, finding Utkatasana, chair pose. As if you're sitting in an imaginary chair, take a look at your alignment. If your knees surpass your toes, can you send that ass back? Slightly tuck the tailbone in, finding the natural curvature of your spine, letting the shoulders melt away from the ears. Take one full breath here, yogis. Exhale, palms into heart center, twisting, bringing the left elbow on the outside of the right thigh. Gaze comes behind the right shoulder blade here, taking a look at those knees. If the left knee far surpasses the right, can you bring them in line with one another? Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, coming back, Utkatasana, chair pose. Inhale, rise up to stand, Tadasana, mountain pose. In this Tadasana, mountain pose, letting the shoulder blades melt away from the ears. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. Exhale, swan dive, leading with the chest hinging at the hips, coming all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, high to low plank. Tuck the elbows into the ribs as you lower down. Upward facing dog, pulling the chest through. Exhale, rolling over the toes, downward facing dog. Taking one breath to reset in this downward facing dog. Inhale, both heels lift high to the sky. Exhale, sink them deep into the earth. Inhale, gaze is in between the palms, tippy-toeing the toes towards the front, and then finding that forward fold here. Setting up for that Utkatasana, chair pose once again, feet are hips width distance apart. Big toes have a slight inner rotation, bending at the knees, rising up. Utkatasana chair pose. Another opportunity to look at this chair pose. Send that ass back slightly, tuck the tailbone in. Gaze is in between the palms of the shoulder blades melt. As if you're trying to rip your mat in two, feel those outer glutes turn on. Inhale, fill the belly. Exhale, palms come into heart center. And then finding that twist, right elbow comes on the outside of the left thigh. In this twist, taking a look at both knees. If the right knee surpasses the left, can you bring them in line with one another? Gaze is behind the left shoulder blade. Take one full breath here. Exhale, release. Inhale, rising up to Utkatasana chair pose. And then exhale, forward fold, planting the palms. You flow, you grow. High to low plank, finishing that vinyasa, tucking the elbows into the ribs as you lower down. Upward facing dog, arc the chest through. Exhale, big toes come together to touch. Child's pose. Taking a moment to come back to that intention in this child's pose. They say yoga is the bridge between mind, body, breath, and soul. Can we control the breath, control the mind? Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, walking the palms close to the body and then finding Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. In this downward facing dog, both feet come together to touch, right leg lifts high to the sky. Starting to draw circles with the right knee, getting juicy in that synovial fluid of the right hip. First moving in a clockwise direction and then switching the direction to counterclockwise. Inhale, right leg high to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, scorpion tail, right heel towards left glute. If the right armpit shoots up towards the ceiling, can you square off towards your mat? Grounding down evenly into both palms, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to nose, round the spine, crunch it in, shoulders over wrists. Maybe you give that knee a kiss. Three-legged dog. Right knee to right elbow, active listening. We're sliding that knee down towards the wrist and then inhaling, shooting it back up. Right knee to left elbow, cross body hold. Inhale, three-legged dog. Right knee to nose, round the spine, crunch it in, plant the right foot in between the palms. We're pivoting this back leg to 45 degrees and then rising up for Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1 on the right side. In this Warrior 1, we're creating a right angle with this right knee. Our back foot is pivoted to 45 degrees. That means if a laser was shooting through our right ankle or right heel, it should bisect the left heel. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, sink down into this warrior pose, grounding down evenly into both feet so you can zip up through the pelvic floor. You got this, yogis. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, pivoting that back foot, finding warrior 2 pose, committing to that bend in the front knee. Inhale, reaching for something you desire, and then exhale, finding that peaceful warrior, letting the left palm drag down towards the left leg. Inhale, straightening into both legs, and then finding that warrior 2 one more time. Inhale, straightening into both legs, reaching for something you desire, sending the hip all the way towards the right, and then bringing the right palm down, transitioning into Trikonasana triangle pose. In this Trikonasana triangle pose, try not to dump all the weight into this right palm. Option to bring the right palm to a block or a book on either side of the foot. If you're with me, I'm bringing that imaginary beach ball down towards the sand. Inhaling, using those obliques, rising up. Beach ball towards the sand. You got this, yogis. Inhale, rise up. Last one, you are strong. Yes, you can. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, cartwheeling the palms to frame the right foot. And then shortening the stance generously, finding that pyramid pose. So in this pyramid pose, we're straightening in both legs, bringing the feet together as much as possible. There's no judgment on your mats. Maybe you take a flat back here. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen in the spine. And then exhale, can you melt the chest down towards the right thigh? Getting juicy in this right hamstring here. Option to stay here and breathe into this pyramid. If you're with me, I'm coming into flamingo pose, bringing both palms behind me to face the back of my mat. Sending all the weight towards the right foot, and then seeing if the left toes can simply find some hang time, taking up towards the ceiling. Whichever version of pyramid pose that you've chose, can you commit to the breath? Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, release. One more breath for this juicy hamstring. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, wherever you are, planting the left foot down, bringing the palms to frame the right foot. And then inhale, left leg lifts for that standing split. Can you find an inner rotation of those toes squaring off the hips? Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, left foot comes to meet the right, grab opposite elbows, ragdoll pose. In this ragdoll pose, having a slight bend in both knees, inviting the chest to kiss the thighs. Finding a decompression in the neck and spine, letting the head hang heavy. Rocking back and forth here. Finding that slight inner rotation of the toes as we did earlier. Inhale, bending at the knee, touching the mat for just one moment, rising up, Utkatasana chair pose. Just like life, yogis, when things get tough, we stay up. Ground down into those feet as if you're trying to rip your mat in two. Slightly tuck the tailbone in, take one full breath here. Exhale, standing all the way up, hinging down, planting the palms towards the earth. And then finding your way back to that high plank. Option to choose your vinyasa, option to skip your vinyasa entirely and meet us back into a child's pose. Arcing the chest here through, maybe you take a slight back bend if you'd like. And then rolling over, finding that child's pose, sending the big toes together to touch, and then sending the chest towards the mat. Maybe bringing the forehead towards the mat here, and then massaging that third eye center, your heart of intuition. Taking one full breath here. Exhale, release. I just wiped my eyebrow off on the mat. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, release. Walking the palms close to the body here, and then finding that downward facing dog once again. In this downward facing dog, we're first bringing both feet together to touch to find that proper foundation and alignment. Inhale, left foot lifts high to the sky, option to point the toe or find that internal rotation, squaring that hip up. Bending in both knees, creating big circles with this left knee. First moving clockwise and then switching the direction to counterclockwise, really lubricating in this left hip. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left heel towards right glute or scorpion tailing the heel. If the left armpit shoots up towards the ceiling, can you square it off towards your mat, grounding down evenly into both palms? Three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to nose, round the spine, crunch it in, shoulders over wrists. Maybe you give the knee a kiss. Three-legged dog. Left knee to left elbow, make a connection, hold, active listening. We're sliding that knee down to the wrist. Inhale, shooting it back up, three-legged dog. Left knee to right elbow, cross-body hold. Inhale, three-legged dog. Left knee to nose, round the spine, crunch it in, plant the foot in between the palms. We're pivoting the back leg to 45 degrees and then rising up, Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1 on the left side. In this Warrior 1, we're creating a right angle with this left knee. Our back foot is pivoted to 45 degrees, gaze is in between the palms, let the shoulder blades melt down the spine. Bring the left hip back in line with one another. Take one more breath here. Exhale, can you sink down and commit? Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, pivoting that back foot, finding Warrior 2 on the opposite side. Bending into this left knee here. letting the shoulder blades melt away from the ears, reaching for something you desire, and then reaching behind you, peaceful warrior. Coming back into that warrior two for just a moment. Straightening in both legs, reaching until you can't reach anymore, finding Trikonasana triangle pose, gazes to the right fingertips. Maybe you shorten your stance in this pyramid pose. Maybe you take a block on either side of the foot. Maybe you plant the left palm into the shin, lifting the chest a little bit higher, gazes towards the right fingertips. If you're with me, I'm bringing that imaginary beach ball down from the sand, and then inhaling using those obliques, rising up. Beach ball towards the sand. Exhale, rise up. Last one, yogis, you got this. Bring that beach ball to the sand, feel those obliques work. Inhale, rise all the way up. And then pivoting both fingers to frame this left foot, shortening the stance generously, finding that pyramid pose on the left side. In this pyramid pose, we take a halfway lift, lengthening in the spine. Exhale, can you send the heart down towards this left shin? In this pyramid pose, getting juicy in this left hamstring. Maybe you bring your palms behind you. The fingertips are at the back of your mat. I'm moving into flamingo pose. If you'd like to come with, you're more than welcome. Grounding down into this left foot, seeing if the right toes can lift off the earth, pointing them towards the ceiling. Sending my gaze and heart down towards this left thigh. Take one full breath here. Exhale, release. Wherever you are in your pyramid pose, take one more breath. Exhale, plant this left or right palm down to the earth, and then frame the palms on towards the left foot. Grounding down into this left foot, rising the right heel high to the sky, standing split. Finding that slight inner rotation, sending the toes towards the earth. Take one full breath here. Exhale, right foot comes to meet the left, grab opposite elbows, ragdoll pose. Finding that decompression in the neck and spine, letting the head hang heavy. Slight bend in both knees, inviting the chest to kiss the thigh. And then when you're ready, finding that slight inner rotation of the toes. Keeping the bind, holding opposite elbows here, if it feels good. Bending at the knee, rising up, Utkatasana chair pose with the bind. You got this, yogis. Just like life, when things get tough, we stay up. Ground down into those feet as if you're activating and ripping your mat in two. Take one full breath here, reaching, squeezing, pressing into those shoulders, pressing into the elbows, feeling the shoulders engaged. Take one full breath here. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold, plant the palms towards the earth. And then sending the glutes down, finding a Malasana Yogi squat. In this Malasana Yogi squat, our ultimate goal is to have our toes facing the front. But if that doesn't work for you today, no worries. Open up the toes to first position. Bringing the elbows in towards the thighs, sending the heart high to the sky. Slightly tucking the chin here, take one full breath. Exhale, release. Left palm comes down onto the earth, and then right palm lifts, finding that twist in the Malasana Yogi squat. Maybe you come for that full bind, reaching for the wrists, and then sending the heart a little bit higher. Inhale, coming back through center. Bringing both palms, shimmying those elbows in towards the thighs, and then opening them up, finding an inner rotation. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, release. Inhale, right palm comes down towards the earth. Left palm lifts high to the sky, finding that twist in this Malasana squat. Maybe you come for that full bind, reaching behind you, sending the chest a little bit higher, twisting a little bit deeper. Coming back through center. And then bringing both palms towards the earth, finding that forward fold. Here, if crow pose is in your practice and you'd like to play, you're more than welcome. If you're with me, I'll walk you through crow pose. planting the palms down towards the earth, creating a number 11 with our index fingers. Lifting the hips high to the sky, and then sending the knees towards the armpits. We're creating a little shelf here with our forearm and our bicep, distributing the weight towards our palms, gazes to the top of our mat. Maybe one foot lifts off the earth today. Engage in the core, sending the navel towards the spine, squeezing in. Maybe the other foot lifts off today. Maybe no feet lift off the earth today, and that's totally okay. Choosing your journey to your vinyasa, maybe you jump back to your chaturanga. Maybe you skip your vinyasa entirely, meeting us in that child's pose. Big toes come together to touch. Chest comes down towards your mat. A couple different options in this child's pose. You can bring the knees out wide, or you can bring them together. Whichever feels good here. Coming back to this breath. Coming back to that intention that we set in the beginning of class. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, walking the palms close to the body, finding that inverted V shape, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. In this inverted V shape, feet are hips width distance apart. Palms are a little bit wider than shoulder width distance, sending the heart towards the thighs, sending the gaze towards the ankles. Take one reset breath here. Inhale, both heels high to the sky. Exhale, sink them deep into the earth. Inhale, gaze is in between the palms. We look, step, jump, hop, or float to the top of our mat. And then grounding down into this left foot, we're bringing our right knee to rise all the way up. Grabbing this right knee here into the chest. And then maybe start to create circles with the ankle. First moving clockwise, and then moving counterclockwise. Grounding down into our left foot, can you slightly tuck the tailbone in, send the gaze forward, and send the chest high. If this is enough for you, you can always stay. If you're looking for a little bit more, maybe you bring the right knee over towards the right side. Finding a slight opening in the hips here, maybe you grab for those toes. If you have the bind on the toes, send the heel to kick out in front of you. And then see if you can open back up, finding that outer rotation. Plugging this right hip into its socket, take one full breath here. Exhale, releasing down. So we're gonna set up for eagle on the other side, or on the right side. So here for eagle, first I'm going to take my right foot and simply point it out in front of me. Bringing my palms out as we did in the beginning of class, and then sending right palm underneath the left, finding that eagle bind with the arms. If this bind is not here for you, go ahead and just hold both shoulders here, whichever option feels good. And then sending this right thigh to cross over. If this is enough for you, you can stay. If you have that second bind, you're more than welcome to move for it. Finding a slight tucking the tailbone in here, finding this eagle pose. So maybe this foot is onto the earth, and that's totally okay too. Take one full breath wherever you are. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, release that eagle bind, come into that forward fold, grab opposite elbows, ragdoll pose. Letting the head hang heavy in this ragdoll pose. Maybe you're bending generously into both knees, finding that decompression in the neck and spine. Inhale, rising all the way up, and then bringing the left knee with you. Taking a clasp in front of the left knee, starting to create those circles with the ankles. First moving clockwise, and then switching the direction to counterclockwise. Maybe this right palm comes onto the hip, Maybe you find an opening, sending the left knee towards the opposite side. Dorsiflexing in this left heel, staying super active. And then coming back to center. Maybe reaching for those left toes if you have that bind. Sending and kicking, stamping the heel towards you or out in front of you. And then maybe opening up for that outer rotation, plugging the left hip into its socket. Taking one full breath here wherever you are. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, release back. Setting up for eagle on the opposite side. First, we bring our left foot to point out in front of us. And then opening the palms as if we're going to give a great big hug. Sending the left hand underneath the right to find that eagle bind. Once again, if this eagle bind does not work for you, go ahead and just give yourself a little squeeze. From here, we take the left toes, wrap them around the right foot. If that eagle bind is there for you, you can always bring it around to the calf, or you can just simply leave the toes here. Whichever way you choose, lift the chest slightly, tuck the tailbone in, and then maybe you find a little eagle crunch. One more breath, whichever eagle pose that you've decided on. Inhale. And then exhale, release that bind, coming into that forward fold, letting the head hang heavy, moving side to side. Planting both palms towards the earth, finding and stepping back to that high plank. Tucking the elbows into the ribs, lowering all the way down onto our bellies. Active listening here, coming into a modified Sphinx pose. Bringing the shoelace portion of our feet to push down into the earth. And then sending our elbows in front of us. In this Sphinx pose, can you feel the shoulder blades plug into the sockets? Can you magnetize the elbows towards the ribs, first sending the chin high, and then slightly tucking the chin in, sending the crown of your head forward. Finding an opening in the back, take one big inhale here. Exhale, release down, bringing the palms out in front of us, wider than our mats. Wider than our mats and in the same distance of our shoulder blade, we inhale, lift the chest, pressing into the shoelace portion of the feet. Exhale, left shoulders towards the earth, gaze is behind the right shoulder blade. Finding that breath here, inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, release through center. Lifting up, pressing into the palms, and then sending the right elbow towards the opposite side. Gaze is behind the left shoulder blade. Inhale, pushing into the fingertips, rising up through center. And then exhale, surrendering the forehead or third eye center towards the mat. Here, maybe you take a bind behind you. We're setting up for locust pose. So if this is where you are today, forehead towards your mat, this is just as good. We're bringing both feet together. The shoelace portion of our feet are down into the mat. Inhale, rise up, sending the fist towards the back of the mat, lifting the core, lifting the chest, pressing into the shoelace portion of the feet. Inhale, can you lift a little bit higher? You got this, yogis. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release the bind, bring the palms out wider than our mats. Inhale, lift through the chest and the fingertips, sending the left shoulder blade onto the earth one more time. And then inhale, rising back up. Right shoulder blade towards the earth, sending the gaze behind the left shoulder blade. Inhale, coming back through center. Setting up for full locust pose here, yogis, you got this. Bringing the palms behind us to clasp. Sending the shoelace portion of our feet to press into the mat. And then lifting up, finding with that inhale, a lift in the chest. Sending the fist towards the back of the mat. Pressing the earth away from you with the tops of the feet. Maybe If you feel good here, the feet start to lift. The feet and chest start to lift towards one another. Take one full breath here. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Slightly tuck the chin in. Send the crown of your head forward. You got this, yogis. Lift a little bit higher. 2, 1. Exhale. Release everything, bringing palms down to the earth. And then sending the hips back, bringing big toes together to touch. Child's pose. In this child's pose, bringing the forehead towards the earth. And then massaging that third eye center. Inhale, coming back to that neutral tabletop pose. And then bringing the feet out in front of us. We're in a staff pose here, creating that L-shaped position with our bodies. Dorsiflexing those fins. We should be so active in our feet that our heels should magically lift off the earth. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. Exhale, swan dive, leading with the chest, hinging at the hips, sending the chest towards the thighs. I want you to think chest to thigh here versus nose to knee. So we're keeping an up dog quality in our chest, finding the integrity of that flat back. So maybe that looks like this today, and that's totally okay. Yoga is not about touching your toes. Yoga is not about how flexible you are. Yoga is asking us to make peace with whatever we have inside ourselves. Maybe you trust yourself and move a little bit farther. Maybe you pull back. Inhale, right knee comes in towards the chest, and then bringing the right palm behind you to create a little kickstand behind the tailbone. Dorsiflexing in this left toes, left palm reaches high to the sky, and then sending the left elbow on the opposite side of the right thigh, sending the gaze behind the right shoulder. Taking one full breath here, inhale, lengthen in the spine. Exhale, can you twist a little bit deeper, sending the gaze a little bit farther? Can you twist from the core versus twisting from the neck? Take one more big inhale here. Exhale, release down. Left knee comes in towards the chest, dorsiflexing in this right fin. Left palm comes behind you to create a little kickstand behind the tailbone. And then right palm gives a little wave. Bringing the right elbow on the opposite side, on the outside of the left thigh, sending the gaze, finding that twist towards the back of the left shoulder. Inhale, lengthen in the spine. Exhale, can you twist a little bit deeper? One more full breath here, yogis. You got this. And then exhale, coming down, bringing both heels out in front of us. We're going to come all the way to the tops of our mat here, bringing the ankles in towards the glutes, grabbing the tops of our shin. But before we do anything, let's give ourselves a little squeeze here. In this time of isolation, sometimes it feels good just to give yourself a nice little hug. Grabbing the outside of the shin, running through one cat-cow here just to reset the spine. Inhale, chest is high to the sky, bolstering your heart towards the stars. Exhale, round the spine, gaze to the navel. Inhale, grab that damn imaginary beach ball out in front of us, and slow and controlled, we're coming all the way down onto our mats. Taking your time here, seeing if you can count all 33 vertebrae on the way down. Activating in the core, remembering to breathe, remembering to smile. Taking your time, sending the shoulders towards the earth. And then bringing the feet up, creating a slight inversion. Whichever inversion is in your practice, maybe that's headstand, maybe that's legs up the wall. Maybe that's forearm stand or shoulder stand. If you're with me, I'm simply letting all the blood flow towards my hips. And then opening up for happy baby, grabbing the outside of the feet, rocking back and forth. Giving that low back some love, massaging your back here. And then when you're ready, releasing all those negative thoughts, Releasing that mental to-do list, releasing those anxieties and fears. This is what we worked for. This moment of bliss. Can you be here with me in this Shavasana? Taking one more collective breath together as a community. Inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs. Exhale, release. Shavasana. Taking a full body scan. Softening in the crown of the head. Relaxing the space in between the brows. Uncrinkling the nose. Taking the tongue to slide across the tops of the teeth. And then releasing the jaw. Can you relax in the neck, shoulders, wrists, and fingertips? Can you soften in the chest, clavicle, ribs, and belly? Can you relax in your hips, in your thighs? Relax through the knees, soften in the calves. Unclench the glutes, release the feet. Soften in the toes. And simply be here. By just being yourself, you put something wonderful in the world that wasn't there before. By just being yourself, by just being you, you put something in the world that was never there before. Starting to bring awareness back to the body, we wiggle our fingers. Inviting life back into our toes, we give those a little wiggle. As if you're waking up for the very first time this morning, reaching for that good morning stretch. And then sending the knees into the chest, giving yourself a final squeeze, thanking yourself for showing up on your mats today for self-love and self-care. Choosing either the right side or the left side to fall onto a fetal position using your bicep as a pillow. I love what this pose represents. A fresh start, a clean slate. Knowing that every single time we step off our mats and into the world is an opportunity for us to begin again. Planting both palms into the earth, rising up to a seated position facing any which way you desire. Bringing the palms to gather all this beautiful energy we've created as a community. And then down to heart center. Remembering that gratitude helps us fall in love with the life that we already have. The perfectly imperfect student in me bows, honors, and respects the teachers in all of you. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your afternoon practice today. Namaste.